if you think about it, at 26, I quit the national team. And not many people ask me why. This says everything, Not many people ask me why. Because everybody was scared of him. Like, if I think about it, I think my mom can write a book. Because I was calling home a lot, crying. A lot. Thinking it was normal. Because for me, a relationship is not 50-50. One moment I have more energy to dedicate, and the other moment he has more energy to dedicate. Helene off the court, I think, is one of the most loyal people I have in my life. I can count on her always. Oh, I don't want to be emotional about it.
Hello, Laura.
Hello.
Big thanks for joining my podcast. It's a great pleasure to host you, and it's a great pleasure to see you in Poland, finally.
It's my pleasure, to be honest. I'm very happy that you chose me, so thank you.
It's been like over 13 years since you left for the first time, like the Belgium, right? Belgium club?
Probably 13. I was gonna say the same.
And I was wondering, you visit so many countries, you played in so many countries. Now it's another one, Poland. It's easy for you as a already veteran player to change countries, change culture, adapt to new places, to new people, new language, which I suppose it's not easy for you.
No, not at all. To be honest, I think it's also part of me to be very open and to have this experience and to take it all in also, to learn from it and to take the best parts of it with me for the rest of, let's say, my life and to see it as something which is benefiting me personally. I don't see it as a challenge because I like to learn about cultures, other people. Mostly I learned also some language. I think Polish is very difficult. Actually, I think it's more difficult than Turkish. But I'm trying. The girls, let's say, they're teaching me every week one sentence, something like this. But it's difficult because it's very different than the other languages I know. So I forget it. It's like at that moment I repeat it a million times, but then let's say 5 days pass and I didn't say it, I forget it. So it's very difficult, but I'm enjoying myself to learn about Poland and about the culture.
I suppose when you are a Belgian player growing up, you have to have in your mind that in order to have pro career, you have to leave your country.
I guess so. I don't think at that age you think about it in that way. At least I didn't. I think in that moment you're just not even thinking, okay, I just want to play in Belgium. You just want to be the best and you want to learn and you see these people, these players, these great players playing abroad in different countries, so you're just not even realizing, I guess, that you have to leave your country to be one of the best. You just go with it, you just go with this flow and you try to achieve it. I think that's at the end the thing you think about while working as a young girl or as a younger girl, let's say.
So when was the first moment you realized that I have chance to live from playing volleyball? Do you have a moment that you realize that you have something like talent?
I guess so, but it's very difficult because it's not like something you completely realize. I think for me it was just about growing and as a person, as an athlete, as a volleyball player. But I realized soon we also had a very good generation when I was young. We had amazing players, so we were from very young age achieving very nice things and medals with our generation, let's say from youth and then junior. So definitely for Belgium, we were one of the better generations, let's say. Also people were talking about this, but I don't think you realize in that moment. I come back to this fact that you are in this flow and I think I realized from early that I really wanted it. And that's what kept me pushing and yeah, from a very young age. After I went also to play with the seniors, I think I was 15 when I started first practicing with them, and then from 16 I was together with them. So at this moment it's not that you're can I make it, can I not make it, I don't know, I just went with it, I think.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, because to be honest, like Belgium women volleyball doesn't have big like traditions, successes. I mean,
that's true. Definitely when I started, like when I came in the national team,
your generation,
exactly. Let's say our generation, like 93, 92, and the one before was also very important for, let's say, kind of the history of Belgium. So definitely there we started building the national team and the success of being good. And I think for sure the generations after, they are pushing themselves to make this team and to be good from a young age. So
for sure we will talk about this generation players born around 1990, 91, 92. But in your opinion, now when you reflect on that times, on that generation, it was luck for Belgium that so many players grew up to be a great player, or maybe there was like maybe training methods, training system at that time was perfectly shaped for you and your peers?
I don't know. To be honest, I had also a very good coach when I was young, which was the father of one of our teammates, of Ilka, the setter. And actually I started playing volleyball because of him, because my brother started playing volleyball. And he said, your sister, she's tall. Does she like what you are doing? And so I went to this same club, and actually I had him from a very young age. I was a child, like really a child. And he always pushed me, and he saw the potential from a very young age. So, and we were like living close by. So also with Ilka, for example, we are from like, let's say, maximum 10 kilometers of distance when we grew up. So definitely because of him, he pushed me a lot. He pushed us a lot, also this generation, because Julien, he was very energetic, let's say, and he was pushing probably mostly about like mentality and energy. And I think this was the strength of this team also, not only the volleyball skills. And yeah, so I guess he had this good method to teach me that volleyball from a young age was not only about skills, but also about like what you put in the court. And definitely for me in that age, it was the right approach, let's say. Of course, he had very good skills as a coach and to teach me a lot, but also this is really something that I always kept with me, and I keep now with me when I'm on the court.
In order to have to be a good player at that time, at your time growing up, do you have to go to Kildrecht? It was like when I look at the roster.
Yes, no,
amazing.
It's
players.
A good question.
I mean, okay, we have like a rare example of Helene Rousseaux. That she went to Turkish instead of Kildrecht.
Exactly.
But most of the players, when we talk about this, we'll talk about this bronze medal team. But when many players from that team played at the beginning in Kildrecht.
True. This is very true. I think in that moment, it was kind of a consequence because the coach also of the national team was the coach in that club. And it was one of the first clubs, for sure, not the only one, but that was trying to work very hard, like practicing every day, and to work in a mentality of, let's say, professional clubs, which in Belgium, in that time at least, there were not that many who were practicing, let's say, every day and giving young girls also this opportunity. So definitely it was something which was kind of normal in my time to do. But for sure, if you want to make the top, this is not the only choice, definitely not. But yeah, it was kind of connected also with the volleyball school and everything. So for me, it was kind of my path, which was already written without thinking too much if this was the right one or not. It was kind of a consequence, like I said before. But definitely in that time, this was the professional choice for me to make and to go work and play on a higher level, let's say, after volleyball school. Even during volleyball school, because I started playing there when I was in my 5th year of, let's say, so I was around 16. So yeah, normally you go to volleyball school, you play in volleyball school, and then after you go to clubs, but they made an exception for me because I needed that time to play already on the highest level in Belgium.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Kildare is located close to Beveren, which you came from.
Yes.
So, but you left your home, your country, at the age of 19 to go to Dresden. How could you describe that Laura? What are the biggest difference between you today and this Laura who went first time to Dresden when it comes to the character?
I think the thing that we have in common is that I was also very young age. I was very responsible. For sure, like let's say the going out and like I did later on, I guess. I was very responsible about like taking care of myself. So for me, the transformation wasn't that difficult because also like I was in university in Belgium before. And I was already like not living at home anymore. I was just going home in the weekends. And I was already started taking care of myself, like cooking wise and this kind of looks stupid stuff, but it's very important. But to look, to make a difference between her now and then is that I reflect more, I guess. I think now I sit still and I think about stuff that is happening around me. And back then, like I said also before, from a very young age, I went with this flow. Now I'm way more realistic and way more, let's say, less emotional, more, I think about things twice in that moment, probably once.
And volleyball-wise, it was a challenge for you to start playing in German league?
Definitely, because when you play in Belgium for many years, you know the players. So every time when you come in a new country, you have to get to know your opponents. The same when I played many years in Italy, okay, this player likes to do this or this. Okay, they can change and everything, but when you come in a new country, it's always like, you have to get to know your opponents, the habits of a culture, of how a certain club works. But yeah, I think definitely back then it was different.
And when it comes to Italy, because Italy at that time, maybe it's still today, the best league in the world. And you're going to a club with already Helene Rousseaux was already in that team. And
no, we arrived together.
Yeah,
yes.
And I think Paola Cardullo and Francesca Piccinini. Great.
Amazing. I was a fear child. I was like, what is happening to me? But you see these players and you watch them every day. I'm like this. I try to watch and I try to learn from them. And I had a really good feeling with them directly, even if we were not understanding each other, because English for them is difficult or was difficult in that moment, and for me Italian definitely. So but it pushed me to learn the language immediately, to be able to like speak also with them and not just watch them, let's say. But yeah, you come in this club, in this league, and you're like, wow, okay, this is something else, so you cannot do anything and just improve. You have to go with them, because otherwise you're not good enough for them. They are there to show you, to take the team also to a certain level, and so I learned very, very quickly to try to adapt and to watch and to see, okay, they're good and I have to watch them and I have to learn from them.
And you remember maybe the rival team or player at the beginning of your time in Italy that gave you a big volleyball lesson that made you thinking, okay, Laura, it's not the Belgian league anymore in German.
So when my first years in Italy, I think Conigliano was not they were good, amazing good, but they were not like
dominant as
exactly as now. But there was Novara, and also Bergamo still had really, really good players. So yeah, you just start immediately watching them, and then there was still Piacenza also, which was really good after they collided also with the club where I was playing. So I started also playing for them. But yeah, you watch your opponents and you watch a lot of volleyball and you try to pick up, like that's the only way.
How long took you to like fully adapt to Serie A?
So when I arrived in Italy, I was not supposed to be a main player. Like I was, but quickly this changed, because also the other middle, she got injured, and I would go in sometimes, and I would like do my best and play good. So we were going on and off. To put a time on it, I would say at least 5 months to really like adapt and to say, but also taking accountable that I was 20 years old. At 20, you start to understand everything, but you don't.
But the fact that you have Helen in your team was helpful, because I was thinking, because I heard a story from like football one time, that when you have like 1, 2 or 3 Brazilian players in the team, there's starting to be a problem for entire group, because like when you have so many players, like 3, 4 players from one nation, they're trying to, create their own language group. And what about the Belgians? Because you're going, you don't know language, and you're going to the new country, and you have your friends.
Yeah, no, that's true. We were also living together. To be honest, probably it is a bit like this, but we were only 2. It's not that. I think from 3 maybe this can change a little bit. But for me, it was very important mentally to be able to also have like the life outside, and to be, because when you don't speak the language yet, or to be honest, back then, like we're talking now about 2013, it was very difficult to find English in the team. Now this is completely different. Like probably also in Italy, the main language in every team is English now, not Italian anymore. Back then it was just Italian. So sometimes, you don't speak that much. I'm someone who really also takes energy from like being in a group and like celebrating, understanding, communicating. So there, for sure, mentally, this was very important for me. Let's say we were also best friends. So we tried not to show this too much in a group or something, I guess. Probably someone will say, no, it wasn't true. We'll write on the comments, but can be. But yeah, definitely when you're close with someone who is from your country, this makes a little bit, let's say, an alliance. But this, for me, this was a positive thing.
We have to stop for a little bit to talk about Helen, because she's a well-known person in Poland. She played here in Rzeszów. She played in Muszyna, I think, and Budowlani. Entire Rousseaux family is popular in Poland.
Yeah, but now people will say, I know her, so they were like catching up, So.
But how was like to play with Helen, and how is Helen like best friend?
So Helene on the court and off the court. So Helene on the court, to be honest, it's been a long time now that we play together. But she's very demanding. This I always loved about her. She's also emotional. And I love this because, you see what you get. So Helene off the court, I think, is one of the most loyal people I have in my life. I can count on her always. I don't want to be emotional about it, but she's very important to me. Now it's been a long time that we play together, but this is a connection, a relationship that I hope to have forever in my life.
That's
and she knows it.
She knows it.
She knows it.
But I have to ask you, because when I'm doing research, and I found out that we played in 2 Modenas.
Exactly.
What was this like?
Because Modena, there was first Liujo Modena, who was like president and the boss of the club. But then they decided that they wanted to sell the license, and they just wanted to be a sponsor. So then Piacenza bought, Liujo sold their license, and Piacenza just moved to Modena. And so Liujo became sponsor, but Nordmechanica back then was the president, let's say. Yeah, so it was 2 different clubs. No, it was just 2 different names, actually, to be honest. And who was like the big boss, let's say, was different, but overall the club kind of stayed the same.
You spent a few years, this first stint in Italy, then you moved to Japan. When you came first time to Italy, you were still like young, you didn't know much about like the level, about the language. But you left Italy for the first time as maybe it's an experienced player, much experienced player. Maybe not
more experience.
Yeah, more experience. Like this, yeah. So going to Japan, you're going to the team that have no any other foreigner.
Exactly.
And you going as a middle blocker to the league that always usually at the time signing opposites or outside hitters, because
big challenge, you would say, no?
Yeah, I know that Freya Albrecht did the similar move, but from your perspective, how was like to if you told me that you didn't know the Italian, but I spoke
but you know, when you go to Japan, you have like a translator, so you have one person, let's say, that follows you everywhere. Which was very difficult for me in the beginning, because we don't know what this is. We have no idea, like someone, but literally following you wherever you go. Let's say you do an attack and you have to move to the other side to attack. This person would like follow me. So in the beginning, this was very challenging for me. Also because the girls, they were really trying to speak words in English or to teach me something. So it wasn't that necessary to be like always being able to communicate big words, big sentences. Also what they do in Japan, they have a lot of routines, so they count a lot. They say always the same things, let's say, so you catch up pretty fast. But yeah, after, when you're in Japan, you start to... Also, I was very lucky, like you said, Freya was there, so we were trying to meet up and to talk a lot and to be not that much lonely, let's say, but because it's true, it's difficult because not many people speak English overall, also on the team. But yeah, you manage with gestures and small words and you make it work.
I remember when I spoke with Freya, she told me like the story about the Japanese teammates' mental, that after 2 hours when they didn't make like perfect repetition or each exercise, they think again and after hour, third hour, fourth hour, again. Freya told them, hey, maybe time to
slow down.
Slow. And we have to, because we have to train more, because
exactly,
if we train more,
the main thing, at least also like the same as Freya, my experience there was like the most important there was the quantity, not the quality. I always said this because for me this sometimes was very strange to watch, because they are pretty emotional. They cannot show it, they don't show it, but they show it after in the locker room, and then they're like, no, I cannot cry, or I cannot do this. But yeah, for them quantity is very important, but they are raised like this, I guess, and they don't know anything else.
How was for your body to live with this regime?
Difficult. Also, I actually had a lot of injuries there. Traumatic injuries, so not like from playing too much or something. But I had my knee, and then when I started again, I twisted my ankle because one coach jumped under the net. Long story short, I think I played 3 months instead of 6. So yeah, it was challenging.
And when it comes to the organization part of the team in Japan, Freya told me that all the paperwork was never as perfect as in Japan. Everything was
you cannot imagine. Before you even think about it, it's already done, or they already took care of it, let's say. So this is something which probably we can never imagine. Yeah, it's very difficult to explain, but definitely something which I also didn't expect. Sometimes too much, a little bit too much. Let me ask for it. They already took care of it.
You said that we talk about this quantity over quality, and I think about other side, Coach Lavarini, because from what I know, he doesn't giving many. You work with him. He does. From what I know, he doesn't give many repetitions, but he wants to 10 repetition, but he wants 10 perfect.
Yeah. I guess that he has the moments where now it's important to what you do, that you take it accountable. Let's say today you make every attack you make. Know that if you make an attack and it's out, in the game it's out. But then he has days where you can repeat. I think it's a little bit depends of what we're facing or which game we had in front of us. I cannot now remember perfectly how was the situation, but it also makes sense that sometimes you're But yeah, if you, let's say, serve out, yeah, in the game, it's not that you can go again, or because it's point for the other. So, but there are moments where it's like, okay, now you can make mistakes and you can repeat. Mostly when, like, for example, when it's score, when you're playing a game with scores, yeah, it's strange to repeat, let's say. But when there was not a score, maybe the opportunity was there, let's say.
In which season you were the best version of yourself as a player?
Oh la la, difficult question. That's a very difficult question. I think my last year of Modena, I think. There I did things which I'm like, how did you do that? Like, playing in this bubble, and like, I also made one game, like 28 points. If I think about that now, I was like, how did you do that? Like, it's impossible. It was with Coach Gaspari, and sometimes he, like, when we worked after in Monza together, he was like, yeah, you remember? I said, I don't. Because if you tell me now to repeat like what happened during the game, I was, in another world. I think also in Super Cup, I was a little bit like that. Like, I was just like, another version of myself, let's say.
But I'm sometimes, when I'm thinking about the middle blocker job, I'm thinking, because the setter jobs is like sometimes to trick a middle blocker.
Definitely, yes.
And so going from another side, like the middle blocker job is like to read the setter. Mm-hmm. What are like maybe key things middle blocker have to do that many people like watching TV doesn't know? Apart of course, blocking and...
Yes. I think definitely... I feel could be a lot about like being able to feel the sensations like of the game. Let's say, this player is on fire. Like, we have to pay attention to this. Like, then maybe someone after would say, oh, this girl made 20 points. I didn't realize. Because it can happen that, make 20 points, like, let's say an opposite makes 20 points, but she started making it at like halfway through the game or something. I think this like sensation of who is in the match in that moment is important. Also energy-wise, I feel it's not just like who can change a game. Because sometimes when you're winning or losing, there's this player which they have something which they are able to change the game for their team because they have an influence on their team or whatever. So something like this, I would say. But as a middle blocker, it's not always that easy to change the game. So
yeah, it's a funny thing. I remember. I think also I spoke about this with Freya, that middle blockers and libero have a tough job because they are usually the less paid players on the teams.
Yeah, they say so. I think it is like this, but
and also
I don't know at the end.
And also as a middle blocker, okay, one time you are on the court, one time you're going out,
yeah.
And you are not and usually always, for example, let's look at the choices of the commissars after the game.
Yeah.
Usually they gave like awards to the players who scored the most points.
Yeah, but it makes sense also. Like, I think middle blocker in men and women volleyball changes a lot. It's a different role. Because at the end, in women volleyball, we attack more than in men, mostly. I'm just saying mostly because someone will say, oh no, but I like to play in the middle. Maybe Marcin Janusz will say, oh, I like to play middle. So, but yeah, definitely, because we have this one leg, let's say, and you can also play this ball when the ball is not perfect on the net or whatever. And so you need it more than in men volleyball, I guess, because it's men volleyball at the end is physical and everything. Sorry, I forgot what I wanted to say. Can you repeat your question?
I have to remind myself. No, we're talking about the fact that the middle blockers are...
yes. But sometimes as a middle, at least that's what I like to do, is to give energy to my team that they can play better or that they are more alert to something. But yeah, you're often out of the game because you're like have to turn around. But I like to be also involved when I'm out, for example, in a timeout to say pay attention, because I see it from the outside also. I can see a game from the inside and the outside at the same time. And I think this is a big value to use. Don't know if many middles see it like this, but this is something which I tried, like to also like communicate a lot with my other middle to be able to, you know, give each other some inputs, let's say. But yeah, score-wise, we are mostly not the MVPs. But yeah, something we have to accept, I think.
And when you reflect on your pastimes playing, because usually at the middle blocker you have to have perfect relationship with the setter, your setter, and it was easy for you, usually easy to like form a good relationship with setter, getting to know each other, to have like, okay, she knows when is the right time to start setting the ball, when I'm ready, like to have this relation.
True. I think it's also not only about the relation, it's also about trust, I guess. I think at the end it's very easy to say, I know every ball, higher, lower, faster. No, they know. A setter knows. Like for sure, we are playing in also now, for example, in Developres. I don't have to tell Kasia. She knows. Like sometimes she asks me, and I sometimes have to tell her, like, of course. But when you play with good setters, they know. It's not that, because you have to trust them also to be able to see what's the situation, and it makes them probably also a little bit more relaxed. And this is also important to give this freedom, to not put pressure on someone like, oh no, because after how they're gonna set, because she tell me like always like this. So this is, for example, I think very important. But this is something which I learned with the years. I think I was way more when I was younger giving input because I thought they would need it. But I don't think this is the case, to be honest.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you played with Maja Oniovic.
Oh, yes.
And with Alessia Orro.
Yes, so, I was very lucky girl.
Yes. So like when you're playing with such a great setters, it's easy, to like build this trust, because I have the story, but not from the middle blocker, but the opposite, Marcus Nilsson. Do you remember him? He was a Sweden star, and he played in Russia, in Kaliningrad with young Decheko. And he said like Decheko came after the national team season, and you know, Decheko said to him 1 or 2 balls, and asked him if it's okay. Not too slow, not too. Man, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Don't worry.
Don't change. And I think wondering, if you play with such a great setters, it's always like they immediately know how.
I repeat, I think there with such a players, you don't have to tell them what to do. Just like you said, like they know, and I consider myself very lucky to be able to have played with them. So I guess. Of course, easy is a big word also, but for sure, like it's important to connect this, and at some point this goes automatically, and they know you know them, you know the timing of when they take the ball in the hands, so it takes a little bit of time. So easy, no, but once you're there, it's kind of established, let's say, and then you can just trust the process and trust the relationship and the connection.
What is the biggest difference between playing at the top team in Italy and in Turkey? They are considered the 2 best leagues.
No, actually it's a good question. And actually it's a pretty easy answer, because when you play in Italy, you have to be on your top every single game. If not, you don't go home with the points. In Turkey, it's a little bit different, because the difference between the, let's say, even first 6 and maybe now at least when I was there, the first 4 or 5 and the rest, there was a big difference. So to be honest, even if you were playing at 80%, you could establish a good game. In Italy, it's very difficult. So you have to be really on top of your game every single time, which is also nice because it motivates you every time. And it pushes you to change and to adapt and to to realize, okay, you know, they study me probably like this, so maybe I should do like this, and think about it. Yeah.
So if I ask the question, which league is better, you will say the Italian.
Yes, the league overall, I think yes.
But one thing I like saw about during the years working as a journalist is like big media attention when it comes to the Turkish women volleyball.
Yes,
it's
definitely.
like whenever I post something or write something, even in Polish, somehow related to Turkish volleyball, it's quoted, it's retweeted, it's shared.
Yeah, they are very social.
Yes, and like when I saw like the crowds, for example, during the Turkey national, it's like
no, this is very
amazing.
true. It's amazing. It's sometimes also tough because at the end, you know, they're very much involved, which is amazing because you feel their support a lot and definitely in the clubs, the big clubs, let's say. But, you know, they, like every person, they also, when it's not going good, they have their opinion, and good and bad, definitely. And I think it's also important, but it's not always that easy to keep distance from it because they are very social and they don't have fear to express their opinions and again, very positive, and they support their team. And I think the Turkish players for Turkey is very, very important, way more the girls than the men, even if the men now are growing also in, let's say, fans and everything. But yeah, they're also a very good team, so I understand why their country is behind them.
Which team is now more popular in Belgium, a men or a women national team?
I don't think that's an easy question.
Because
I think the men are doing a great job.
If I will guess, I will say now men. Because of the Ferreira,
yes,
for example.
Yeah, Ferreira is killing. He's doing a really good job for Belgium. And he deserves it. I know the guy. He's a hard worker, so he deserves also success right now. So I think I would say also the guys right now. But I think this changed in the last year and a half, maybe 2 years. But yeah, they are doing good results, so they deserve it also.
But for example, if we will ask this question 20 years ago, no one will like...
At 20 is maybe a lot, but
12,
yes.
12,
no one would say the boys, I think. Sorry, guys. But
12 years ago, I think nobody will say men.
No, I don't think so, yeah.
Do you remember like your first like call up to national team, senior national team?
Yes.
How was like, you remember the feeling?
Frightening. Yeah, you know, because you're a young girl and you want to achieve and you want to show and you want to, so it's a lot of pressure, but I put it on myself, not because someone put it on me, but yeah. But
everybody's dreaming about playing for national team.
Oh no, 100%, but still it's something you don't know yet. So it is a little bit frightening, but it's amazing at the same time, you know? So it's a good, at least I like to have a little bit this touchy, frightening too. But yeah, it's very nice, but very frightening at the same time.
The fact that you came to the national team with other players similar age to you, or not, like your friends, made like this transition, this adapt to national team easy or easier? I guess
yes. I guess also.
It wasn't like you came to national team and most players were like 15 players.
Yes, no, this is true. This is true. Definitely. This was very important for me, and you know, at the end, also what we created in the national team, for sure, the let's say my first years and after we kept this we were a very good group. We were very connected. We just wanted to be together, you know, and I think this was our success also. Except the skills, because I'm not gonna deny that we didn't have skills, but we were very together, and I think this was very important because we're a small country, you know, we're very small, and or let's say the amount of players, it's not that we have 30 good players, you know, at least now, maybe, I don't know, to be honest, if it's the case, but back then, you know, it was this 14, 16 maximum maybe, and then we had to do it with that, so this makes a group come together.
And do you remember first tournament that you and your teammates, like your age, realize that we built such a good team that can achieve something maybe in the future? I don't want to think that you thought already that you will win a medal, but when you thought that, okay, maybe one game, tournament.
To be honest, I don't think so, because we were still growing as a team. For example, when we did the bronze medal in Berlin, we were still growing, and we were still. It was a little bit unexpected for us. We when we beat Italy in Switzerland, I was like, wait, Switzerland? Yes, I think so. For us, this was like, oh my God, what are we doing? Like, what's happening? But we were not like, okay, now we're gonna kill them. We were just like down to earth. We were not the favorite. We were the underdog, 100%. And we had this flow. We were flow players. We were flow group, and we just went with it. But we were not expected to take a medal there. So after, of course, you still have to do it. So we achieved that. But to be honest, that we expected all of this? No, not at all.
Maybe we'll start like the harsh chapter of podcast, but I have to ask you, if somebody will told you after you won this medal that it will be your first and the last big medal with national team, what would you say? What would you think?
I would say, let's play the semi-final again and let's talk about it after. I think because for us, losing that semi-final was...
Because you were leading 2-0.
Yes.
And like first set you won to like 18 or 19.
Yes.
Second to 21. And Germany started and...
It was so tough. I think this is the first time where I really... If I think about it, the first and last time that you... Also, mostly you don't play a match and then you play... It's only like Final Fours and this kind of stuff that the day after you play again. But the most tough one that I'm like, how are we gonna play today? I mean, the day after, because it was so tough mentally. We were devastated. We were broken, like heartbroken, let's say. So I think it was the most difficult time to be able to like do the switch and say, okay, we have to play for a medal now. But yeah, that's also, what made us good, what made us this team, because we were just pushing each other and taking energy of each other. And so, yeah.
I suppose that time after the game against Germany and the start of the bronze medal game was tough because, and everybody knows like now today, the story, what happened after the semi-final game in hotel, the speech of coach.
Yes, yeah.
And I spoke with Helen. Helen told me that she was in the room with Lisa Van Hecke. Mm-hmm. They slept 3 or 4 hours.
I think less. To be honest, I think less.
Because they were like devastated after what they heard.
Yeah.
And Lisa played amazing game.
Incredible.
It was like game of her life.
Yes.
55 points.
Yeah.
And I was, if I have chance to ask you,
I have goosebumps even thinking about it.
I have to ask you how, because when I heard the story from Freya, from Helen, what you heard after the game, okay, it was a bad lose because you lost after leading 2-0.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, but it was already enough, Losing the game was enough.
So this was enough
exactly.
Pain.
Yes.
And now, after that, this came this speech in the hotel.
Yes, exactly. To be honest, it was just a total, like we were heartbroken, like I said before. And then going into this speech, to be honest, it's not that we expected something different, like completely different. But this was, it was just, when something is down, but you keep like going like, no, you're not getting up. And this speech, and it was not only about what was said, but also how. And how it's like, why? Like, we are playing for a medal tomorrow and you're just breaking all of us, putting us down like we are no one, because this was the feeling. I remember going out of this meeting and I'm like, send me to the mental hospital or something, because I cannot come back from this, It was so tough. And when you say 3-4 hours, I think it's a little bit too much. Like people were just like speechless, like how do I even react on this? I start taking my mic like this because I start feeling all the emotions again. But that's a long time ago. But yeah, that's why it was even harder to start this bronze medal final, like how they call it now, small final.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, to be honest, I don't know how he did that to win there the medal. But if you ask me about this, it would be the last time you play for the national team, I would play the semi-final again. First, if I can request this. Second, I would say, okay, then that's it, like it was amazing because of the girls, and it was hard because of another situation, let's say, because
you are very diplomatic.
Yeah, I'm trying to, because I think people know what happened, or they heard at least about it. I think I came at a point where I'm like, I want to move on from it. It was also clear we won. When we started like coming together after the documentary where Freya also spoke, we came together and it was pretty clear, it's like it was clear that how we were treated in the national team was not okay and was not okay mostly because we were all young, and I cannot say that I was like, for me at some point it was also normal. And then I went to play abroad and I had the experience and I was like, okay, wait.
This is not normal.
This is how it should be. And then you start to realize, and it takes time to realize and to understand that this is not okay, that how he spoke or the way he would handle with us, it wasn't okay.
But Helen and Frauke Dirks, I heard the story about Frauke, because she later was also assistant in national team.
Yes, exactly.
And she told to the Belgian press that she went to psychologist because she was thinking that she was not good enough.
Exactly.
Helen was talking to me the same thing. Every time I was thinking that it's problem with me, that I'm not good enough, that not problem with staff coach.
And this was his way of working. He had this kind of potential power over you where you would question yourself. And I think this is the worst thing to do to someone in any job, in any, that they are thinking, okay, I am the problem. So Frauke was an amazing player. And I think going to work for him destroyed this life a little bit for her, because I think she really wanted to be a coach, and that first she said no. This is the way, because back then I think she didn't see how he handled things, and she realized when she went to be his right hand, let's say, as a second coach, she realized what we went through. I don't think she realized before how he would speak to girls.
Freya told me some words that stick to my head every time when I think about this national team. She said, national team is the biggest disappointment of my career, volleyball career.
I think if we would ask her now, I think she would say it's the most beautiful but the biggest disappointment of my life. I think she would also add how good it was, because we loved being there at the same moment, and
sure, she always said good words about you. So,
yeah. No, but if you think about it, like, how can you be so conflicted? Being somewhere where you want to be, and okay, because you want to be the best and you want to achieve stuff, but also because we wanted to be together. We were a very good group, and for sure, having him as a coach united us even more. But yeah, I can imagine, and it's true. Like, if I think about it, I think my mom can write a book, because I was calling home a lot, crying a lot, thinking it was normal.
Helen was doing the same thing. She told me
thinking it was normal. And my mom at some point was like, okay, this is not okay anymore. You're not going. No, I want to go. I want to be there. No.
Freya told me that even there was not even chance to try to like fire him because he was so connected to government.
No,
because
no chance.
if you maybe heard the story like years ago in Poland when it was Jacek Nawrocki, former coach, some players wrote a letter to the press that they don't want to work with him. I told Freya, sorry, no way that this could work in Belgium because
no. He was deciding a lot. He had a lot of power within the federation, also within the government, within deciding how much money was going to volleyball.
Yeah, sorry, I heard the story that one time he said that if he will be fired, that all the financial stuff from the government will be cut.
Yes, I think this was also very, like, at least this was things that we heard, If it's true or not, we will never know, because we don't know if at the end he had this much power or this much decisions that he could make. But to be honest, it was not healthy to have all this power and to have all the decisions within your hands about a team, about the money, about who's coming, who is like, let's say, even the decider of the federation. He decided everything. He was deciding where we practice, how we practice, which, okay, the how is maybe normal for a coach, but like where, and the formula, the who, and everything, and so we always know that we couldn't do anything about it. We talked a lot later on the beginning, because in the beginning, like I said, we thought it was normal and it was okay and this is what we need, and until we are like, oh no, this is not okay, but we know we couldn't do anything about it. So I was really scared of him, to be honest.
So when was the moment that you realized, okay, I will even sacrifice my national team career for my mental health? When you decided, okay, no matter what, I don't want to play anymore in this team.
So I quit national team at 26.
2016.
Yes. So yes, then I was the last one to quit. So 2017, but I know in 2016 because after the European Championships where we went out in quarterfinals, this was not okay, and the things that happened there was also not okay. And I know, but the year after I was going to play in Japan, and I know if I don't go to national team, then I would start very early with the preparation, and so I decided to try again, and to try and to want to do this one more time. And then I realized, but there also it was different, because then it was look at Laura. Look at Laura. Everybody watch Laura. This is also not the way of working, This is what is this like? I'm nobody. Okay, there's a way of saying this, but in everything, I was like, whew, you're the best, and whatever you do is amazing. But it doesn't work like this, I'm not black or white. I'm always try to be a little bit in between, but. So yeah, that year after I said I cannot do this anymore. So actually me and Freya were the ones that stayed the most. Before, of course, Ilka, we have Ilka, the setter, that stayed a little bit longer. But that was the last year also. How he handled things with Freya and stuff for me was not okay. But yeah, if you think about it, at 26, I quit the national team. And not many people ask me why. This says everything, Not many people asked me why. Because everybody was scared of him. Every journalist.
Yeah, Freya told me that many girls, I don't want to say faking injuries, but saying, okay, having injuries or some health problems, somehow is a blessing, because they didn't.
Yes, I think back then, many people would say I quit national team because my injuries, it's too much, summer, winter. But how many people are doing this? If you think about it, it was true. I'm not saying there was. So let's take the faking back, because it was true. For example, Lisa she needed it also, but we were too scared in that moment to say, actually, this is true, but there is another reason. And it's not that people really they maybe asked like this, but to really ask is something different, you know? So
Yeah, because for many years nobody knew like the story behind like all this retirements, resignation. Because when you look at the roster during that times, Freya told him that nice thing that he started inviting younger players, and they have got worse results, but he had excuse. Hey, we have a chance to younger players.
Exactly.
They need experience.
Yes. Yeah. No, this was a little bit of ways like of anticipating losses. So this was his way through many years of saying, no, but it's okay. It's actually normal that we didn't win, you know? And like this is a little bit also in Belgium going on. If you take one set against Italy, wow. No, like this is something he created a little bit of this up and down of like already saying from before it's gonna be difficult, because then if you lose, people are okay, you know, he told it's gonna be difficult, they tried, but it doesn't work like this. If you want to win, you say we want to achieve this point, not because the girls are young. And of course in Belgium it's also true, you have to always try to take the young girls and to make them better, because it's not that we have like I said before, 20 or 30 or 50 players to choose from. So definitely you have to try to like get talent and to give them opportunities, and but he used it also as an explanation, which in my eyes, okay, if you really have trust, show it, you know, say from before that this team, they have to work hard and but they are capable of it.
I have to say that I also enjoyed watching this team in 2019, because there was many Polish roots players. Karolina Goliat, Dominika Strumiło, Kaja Grobelna, Dominika Sobolska.
Also Dominika Sobolska went back to the national team.
Yes, and also in 2021, I think there was also Kaja played, Britt Herbots, Celine Wagestel, but since like then...
And now they're very young, but really young. Like they don't even... Back then, in my years of national team at least, like we were playing mostly abroad and everything. Now it's rare to find, except probably Brit, and then the libero, and some girls are playing abroad. But to say like, okay, this is our team and we're playing there, it's more difficult because they are young. And I think they had no other choice to start from there now. And, you know, they are trying. You can see that they are trying to keep up the level, let's say, but it's difficult.
And were you surprised that no matter what happened, what was written about coach Britt Herbots was still loyal to this team, to this coach?
To be honest, I was very surprised. Because, of course, she was not all the years that we were struggling, she was there, but some she was. And she was struggling too, at least what she told me. But yeah, of course, everybody's entitled to their opinion and everything, but it was hurtful, you know. Not mostly because her experience is her experience. I cannot even try to say, no, it was not like this, because that's like she said, I feel like this, okay. But she said that whatever happened to me was not true. And I'm not okay with that, you know, because I'm not saying you have to feel, but also don't start saying that I'm actually, without saying it, you're saying that I'm a liar. So, and that's where I struggled a little bit, because at the end, she is entitled to take a side. I'm not, but yeah, don't talk for me or don't think for me.
And think for a second when I ask this question. Do you think Britt Herbots is a good leader of national team? I mean, not as a player, not as a aspect, because she's a phenomenal player.
Yes, she's an amazing player. Yeah.
As a leadership, do you think she is a good leader?
To be honest, I have no idea. Like, I didn't she was not even 20 years old when I started playing with her. So, to be honest, I don't know which kind of leader she is now. I know she has a lot of energy, and I like this. Is she a good leader? To be honest, I cannot answer this question. You would have to ask someone who worked with her. I heard some stuff, but still, until I'm not the one to say, if someone comes to me and says, yeah, you will see this person is like this, and you will be with her because you will meet her. I'll let her meet her I want to meet her, and then after, of course, you can come and tell me, but still, I will make my own opinion about it, because I don't think it's always correct to judge others' opinions and start from there, let's say. So I don't know. To be honest, I don't know.
How you felt when first coach Vande Broek was suspended, and later, from what I know, he was like rehabilitated? This suspension was cancelled?
Yes. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but to make a long story short, he went an appeal. And there the situation changed a little bit because they were like doing another procedure and this kind of stuff. And he kind of won that part, but they took out a lot of our, let's say, stories. So this situation wasn't, at least from what we know, it wasn't like correctly procedured. So they are investigating now how, like, what went wrong and how they handle this appeal, let's say. So yeah, it's still going on actually.
But he's not a coach of national team anymore.
No.
Kris Vansnick, his assistant, is right
Yes.
now. And do you think because of that something has changed in your opinion in Belgium national team? I don't know. You said that you don't play, so you don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe somehow you heard. Do you think something changed in this team?
I hope so. Because at the end, when we started everything after the documentary, for me, the most important was I'm doing this for the next one. Because I was moving on from it, like many years passed. Many years passed, let's say 3-4 years passed already. So I was moving on from it, but I didn't want this to happen to the next girl, the next young middle blocker, the next, can even be another position, but because I don't believe that this is the right way, did something change? The only thing I can say is Kris was my second coach for all these years that I was there. Unfortunately, never spoke up. I don't know what he thought about it, to be honest, how he was thinking personally. But I know that, the staff was very connected in all those years. And definitely he worked with him for more than 10 years. So for sure he learned from him. So it's like his protege, we would say. But I hope something changed. I know that he has a lot of energy. I like this. He's very excited as a coach. So this is, I think, something very positive. I just hope he's a little bit more decent.
How you see the future of Belgium national team?
I hope they can grow. Because I think also Belgium volleyball took a hit because of this situation. I think it's a feeling I have. But I hope there is talent coming, to be honest. I'm not very, very, very sure. But I hope talent is coming and I hope they can do great things.
But I'm wondering if, you won this medal as a generation. You won this medal, which is, I think, till today the biggest achievement of Belgian volleyball overall. But on some way, these young players don't have any veterans to teach them, to introduce them. True. So I was wondering, in that case, would you agree that in some way this generation, your generation, is unfulfilled? Like that, because I always check these ages of you and your teammates at 2013. You were like 21, 2, 3, like still young.
Yes.
And if everything was at the great form, good coach, good atmosphere, you could play as a generation until the last Olympics.
If you think about it, I'm 32 now.
Yeah, you maybe even more. Yeah. Yes, but
because we were all around my age.
The core team could at least play until the. And now you don't play for national team for many years. The new girls coming to this team, and they don't know how it's like to play with Laura Heyrman.
No, this is true. I think, to be honest, we all stopped when, let's say, because when we were in the national team, the difference between medium and high best teams, it was huge. It was very big difference. Russia and everything. I think now, at least when I look at teams, it looks more like challenging, And so I think if we would have continued with this team, we would have achieved many things. So yes, I think there's like this empty that stays. And I also believe that at the end, it's nice as a veteran, like you said, to teach younger girls and to show them or to help them, because you have the experience, because you went through something or you had this experience already.
What memories you had with Polish team or Polish national team or a club when you remember before you signed a contract with Rzeszów? I think you played one game, I remember, against Poland in Łódź. It was, I think, World Championship qualification. You beat like 3-0.
Yes.
Freya told me that till today is one of her best games in national team, because Poland bring many veteran players.
Yes, they brought them back.
Yes, just to like for last dance.
Yes.
But you came to Łódź and won 3-0.
But we were like, there was just like, this flow. Like we knew that was going to be difficult, because if you think about it, and like we were still young, and you look all these veterans that you looked for, like as a young girl, like because they are amazing players. And then you're like, okay, but we work as a team. So let's give a little bit of Belgium style, a little bit of Belgium vibes. And we just went with all our energy, and they, from my opinion, they didn't expect it. Like they didn't expect this energy, this flow, which was for me our strongest, this was our strength, let's say. So I think we took them a little bit by surprise.
Freya told me that when she was at that game at Łódź, she experienced like the Polish fans. She told herself, wow. Okay, one day I have to go to Poland.
Yes. Also, the first time, this was the really first time that I was like, I think I played in Poland in this, at least maybe like in a big gym like this with all the fans. And when I heard the national anthem, I think I cried. But the national anthem of Poland, I cried. I was like, wow. But this happens more often, let's say, also in Italy, this happens. But back then I was like, I will never experience this again. But
you were a little jealous?
Yes, no, I was crazy jealous, because in Belgium we don't have this, like we are supporting each other, but to fill a gym like this, no chance.
And when it comes to like the clubs or teammates, you played, I think, with Kasia Skorupa?
Club, exactly.
Yeah, so and you have a chance to play against Polish teams in Champions League.
Yes.
So you came a few times. So what you knew about the Polish league before you signed a contract with Developres? That
actually it's a challenging league, like that. Then you have to play good volleyball to win. Even if you're in your strong team, because I think an underdog. I've been many years in national team, for example, in this position, and underdogs, if they play volleyball, they can win. So this I know. But to be honest, I watched more the men league than the women league.
In general, do you like watching men volleyball?
Yes, I do.
And do you think that you as a volleyball player, general, can you bring something to your game from watching a men game? Because as you said, it's quite different, especially as a middle blocker.
Definitely. I think so. Yeah, I think when you watch volleyball in general, you can learn from it. I really believe this is a way of becoming better as a player to watch a lot of volleyball. So I think so.
And was something surprised you when you came to the Rzeszów for the first time?
something. I was already in Rzeszów, so first, like, let's say I already came here because of Yacine, of course. Something surprising. Yeah, that the weather is cold, I know. Actually, I knew a little bit about it, but many people in Rzeszów speak English, and this is really nice.
Generally in Poland, many people.
I think, for example, even this changed in the last, let's say, 5 years. Because of what I know, nobody speaks English in Poland. Now I know that it's not like this, so this is nice.
And tell me more, if we can talk a little bit about the fact, because you and your boyfriend Yacine, you in recent years you're trying to play in the clubs from the same area.
Yes,
it's
we are trying.
Easy, or like because it was like it's like okay, Yacine find a club, okay, I have to find a club. Other way. How does this look like?
Well, to be honest, at some point, because when we met each other in Monza. The year after, he went to play in Jastrzębie. And this was correct, but this was the year after COVID, so it was very tough. And we saw each other, I think, 3 times in one season, if we are ready. And maybe one time, not even 24 hours, something like this. I remember flying to Krakow and taking a car and going to Jastrzębie for the night. And in the morning, I left again, something like this. And I think there we were like, okay, we are too sure about this relationship to keep going like this. Let's try. So we are trying this. So when I had the opportunity to go to Turkey, to Eczacıbaşı, for me this was a childhood dream. So he was like, okay, I want to be with you. I'm coming. The league is good. And so we were lucky that.
So in that case, you was the first.
Yes.
So he came after you.
Yes.
So it's very good to mention, because sometimes many people think, the man first time in club.
Yes, but this is how it started. It's not how it's ending actually. So yeah, he came with me, and we both liked it. He liked to play also in Turkey, and so we decided to stay a second year. When after I was like, okay, I want to go to Monza again, because they offered me again, and I'm getting a little bit older as a girl, you start thinking about quitting earlier than men. This is the effect.
For sure.
And like, they are making this team, and we are playing Champions League, and this is after 7 years that I played already in Italy, you have to think that I'm thinking in this way. I'm like, this is my chance to not lose a final, but to win a final. This is my chance, I want to go. And so he was like, okay, Rzeszów offered me a contract, let's do the long distance. And it was okay. But after we were like, okay, we're getting older, let's stay together if we can. So then after, going to Milan was for him also a little bit of luck. There is a lot of luck in this story. I'm not, maybe it doesn't seem like that, but it is. And then now when he got the offer from Rzeszów to come back, we were like, okay, let's try. Let's see if Developres is like giving me a chance, or if they are interested. And if not, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know, but we were lucky.
So now you both are in this position that when one signing a contract, the second one can even sacrifice some money just to play.
Exactly. Yeah. We are trying not to do that, but of course, sacrifice is a big word. Definitely, we're adapting and choosing these things together as a couple. Definitely.
Is it easy to maintain, the volleyball relationship? I know a lot of couples. Somebody are even married, but I know marry relationship broke because of this distance and the fact. Okay, you are. Let's say, for example, you're living in the same country like Poland.
Yes.
But men have 1 weekend on Saturday game away. The women have, on Friday home.
Yes.
You can't synchronize the calendars.
No, that's true.
So how?
But also, from my point of view, this is not the most important thing,
So what is more?
Most important thing is at the end, to enjoy the small things and to dedicate when one is fresh enough to dedicate that time. Because for me, a relationship is not 50-50. One moment I have more energy to dedicate, and the other moment he has more energy to dedicate. Yeah. Not only energy, but also. So this is how we manage it, and I think definitely we're trying, like you see, to not be long distance, but if it's necessary, we both know that we are communicating very well, that this is the key in our relationship, and so it looks like it's working.
Yeah, but it's advantage or disadvantage to be a volleyball player and date a volleyball player? Because you know what...
this is a good question, actually.
Because, in one way, for example, what he feels after he lost a game. And after the hard training or pre-season.
Yes.
But on the other side, maybe you would I don't know, to...
Get tired of it? No, I don't know. To be honest, I see it as something positive. Because I think for me it's very important that he understands that now I don't want to talk about it. Or okay, let's wait a few hours and then ask if you want to talk about it, or what do you think about it. And I don't want to be the person that has to explain why I don't want to talk about it, or why I need time to, or why I need where I'm thinking, or why I cannot sleep, or why. So for me, it's a big advantage. Also because we really feel when to give the other one the space. I think, I don't know if this is because we play both do the same job, or because we are just good at it. I don't know. But for me, it's also nice that I am like, I do this a lot actually. I'm like, Yacine, can I ask you a question? Like, can you give me some advice on something which probably he's better in than I am? Or so yeah, I see it as a big advantage for me personally.
I mean, do you like to talk about volleyball after
no, we don't talk about volleyball. But sometimes it happens you need it, like it's more about like how you think I should approach something. Can be something stupid, but or like just saying something like I don't feel like physically I feel like this. What do you think? Like I should do more or less or something? But talk about real volleyball, no, we don't do that often.
Coming to the end, because I took you so much time.
I like it. Yeah. We're having a good talk.
And because I'm sorry, but you mentioned your age.
Yes.
Somehow. Knowing the fact that you have less years to play that you played already, do you have like plan for yourself after you ended your career?
I think so. Actually, I'm still studying.
What you study?
Psychology, but like it's the lower level. It's not the one university level, because I can be like a psychological consultant, something like this.
Like the mental coach?
Or like a coach, like sometimes cannot call myself after having the diploma a psychologist, but somebody that can give advice, or I can study more and then I can become a psychologist, but which I like. But I think, to be honest, I will not use it in the future. I like to have this diploma and I love to do it. And I love to know, because I think it's very interesting, but I would love to be like more in the organizing sector, some events or something like this. I think right now I still have time, but
you're not seeing yourself in volleyball environment?
I don't think so.
I don't even mention coaching, but
I don't think I have the patience for it.
Really?
Yes.
Like, what you said about the mentorship, like playing with younger players.
Yes, but still I think if this would be my only thing to do, I don't think I have the patience for it. Because now at the end, I can advise and I can try to give them something, but I'm also doing my part, I can also do it and I'm hoping that they watch or whatever, or they pick up something, because it's not that I'm who knows who, but like, I think if it would be only like, let's say, coaching or something like this, I think I would not have the patience. I would get frustrated, which they don't deserve. But
maybe a position like Jelena have today, like after being legend here in Rzeszów, she became now assistant, and she was assistant to Guidetti. So maybe as assistant, maybe as a junior coach.
Maybe I think there I would want the credit I don't know. I'm just saying, but...
But okay, you told me about the plans, but where these plans will be located?
This is a good question.
Yeah, where will be the place you will consider as a home?
We just bought our second home, so like
Italy?
No, in the south of France.
So south of France is your like destination?
For now, yes. That's the idea. But that's the idea of the future. Anyway, futures change, but this is the idea, yes.
And outside of the volleyball, you mentioned the psychology thing, but because I suppose you don't think about volleyball like 24 hours per day, 7.
No, you cannot, because otherwise I don't sleep.
I know some freaks that they're thinking about. But yeah, how you managing yourself outside the volleyball? What you trying to do, like to not think or to like reset?
Mm-hmm. I think this changes sometimes. Like for me, relaxing is doing many things. Like I like to read, I like to study. So I sometimes take these moments to focus on something else. This is my studies. So definitely I like to go out with friends, have a dinner, have a lunch, have a coffee, this being social. I think I'm a very social person. So I think this would be my first position of like, let's say, taking my mind off things. Doing something social would be my first choice, yes.
When you reflect on your career, knowing all these good days, I mean, the trophies, F Cups, medals, I know you have a lot of silver and bronze medals. Yes. And so you lost a little bit of these games, but knowing all the pluses and minuses, like the success and failures, are you proud from about your career, what you have achieved as a player? Of course.
I think, as I say many times, like for example, also when we now won the Super Cup, I said, I did it. I won something, except internationally, of course. I won a cup in the country where I play. I said, I did it. So the curse is broken. But that being said, all these finals I played, I lost many. Unfortunately, I lost, I think, more than I can count on two hands. But arriving in the final is not easy, and I had great team. I had the honor of bringing great teams and having amazing teammates. So yes, I think yes, and I'm very proud of the player I am. For sure, if I think about it as a young girl, where I would arrive, yes, I do.
Yeah, you're mentioning this young Laura.
Yeah, when you're young and you're thinking.
Yes, but at the beginning, if you remember, I asked you the question about the difference when it comes to the character between the Laura who went to the Dresden and Laura today. But what advice today Laura could give to this Laura who went to the Dresden first time abroad?
I would tell her that probably she will become a girl with a big mouth. That it's okay, and then probably, this gives you a lot of, that she will have a lot of character because of this, and to keep like being the girl that she is, because but to think more. I think I would say realize more about what you're doing. This would be my advice. Think more about what you're doing, what you're achieving, what you're already living. Because maybe I started doing that a little bit too late. I think maybe it's difficult to do at 19 years old also, but I think that would be my advice, yeah.
Apart of staying healthy, what I can wish to you?
To enjoy small things.
So I wish you this, and
Thank
once
you.
again, big thanks for joining my podcast. It was a great pleasure to host you, to hear your stories. Some stories not easy to talk, but for sure, I'm very glad that you were so open and for your willingness to talk.
Thank you very much. I'm honored, so thank you.